What's good, everyone, and welcome back to the Water Boys channel. As today I will be giving you my first mock draft covering all 32 teams. Well, actually all 32 picks. I don't think every 32 teams is picking in the first round, but I want to give you my quick mock draft. But before I dive into any of that, I want to make a disclaimer. I'm not too well aware of every college prospect out there. I'm basically filling needs in this as well, but I will be releasing a mock draft probably once a week. So as the longer we go through this, the better I'll come with these prospects, get more knowledge, and these fits will fit perfectly. But my first one I'm liking really well. So without further ado, before we jump in, please do be sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video. Like I said, I'm going to be having mock drafts. I'm going to be having free agency updates. So you do not want to miss out on any of this NFL news that I will have for you guys. But without further ado, let's dive right in. As we do go through this as well, I'm going to go through each 32 picks, but it's also going to be a quick, brief breakdown on all. And the first team that we'll be picking is the Jacksonville Jaguars. And of course, I wanted to make it different as well. Everyone has them going with Evan Neal, the lineman out of Alabama. I kind of wanted to flip the script a little bit as well. And I actually can see this happening in the future just for the fact, like, I think, I'm looking at it right now. Don't want to mess his name up. Maybe that's why I had him going first, just so I don't struggle with his name later on in the video. But I have them going with EKONWU. Now, I hope I said that correctly, but everything I've seen is that he's the better lineman and he's the better tackle. He's just more of a raw, athletic, gifted talent as well. And I think what he's going to do in the combine and the numbers he'll put up, I think that'll have him go up higher on the boards, and I think that will have him be projected at this #1 pick. I do think it would be smart for Jacksonville to go a lineman over. Of course, we're going to be looking at like an AIDEN Hutchinson as well, who was the #1 prospect in the draft, which would be good because Jacksonville has succeeded a lot with defense in the past. But you got to protect Trevor Lawrence if you want him to succeed in the future. So this lineman, I think, would be an excellent choice at the #1 pick as well, too. I can see him trying to field some trade offers as well. Now, at the #2 spot, we have the Detroit Lions. This could be a likely trade destination. And if anything, I want to say keep your eyes on the Denver Broncos. I think Denver will be really highly interested in AIDEN Hutchinson, but who knows? I think that's where they have succeeded and became a championship caliber team. Again, I'm not an inside source or anything like that, but if I was and this was right, you saw it here first. But I didn't make any trades in this draft, so I'm going to stick with the Detroit Lions, and I'm going to stick with them taking the best player available, which would be AIDEN Hutchinson, and that would be a steal because they had the best player follow them at #2. He gets to stay basically near home as well. Dan Campbell, he's molding this team. They have been fighters every week last year as well. They compete every week, and they add another young stud to that defense that will help them out as well. I think they're building a nice thing in Detroit. You just got to be patient. Things will prevail in Detroit. Just wait on it. Just wait on it. Now, with the #3 pick, we're going into Houston. And Houston, you can dissect in any way, shape, or format. They need every position as well. But I'm going to focus on the defensive side of the ball. And I know I'm going to say his name wrong too, but Thibodeau, I knew the rusher out of Oregon. I know a lot of people have that projection here as well. But I'm actually going to go with the safety. I'm going to go with Kyle Hamilton. I think he's going to be a better asset and a better fit as well for that Lovie Smith defense. And he's a ball hawk. He's a playmaker. He will lead that defense. And I think that is going to be the great pick for Houston at #3 as well. If they decide to stay in that pick, I can also see Houston trying to trade out of that pick, get more assets, try to build that team together. But Kyle Hamilton, who I'm going to go with, the safety out of Notre Dame. At the #4 pick, the Jets feel like they got blessed as well. They had a pass rusher, one of the best. Could go #1 overall. Depends on who you're talking to. But Kayvon Thibodeau, coming out of Oregon, falls to #4. The Jets can't pass that up, and it helps their defense greatly. Fits that Robert Saleh defense as well. Saleh's going to make this a defensive first team, trying to find a way to slow down the Buffalo Bills as well. And this will be another great asset to help the New York Jets and strive to try and become a better team in the future. We're going to stay in the city of New York. We're going to go to the New York Football Giants, and they basically got a blessing as well. A lot of them have the projection at #1. I'm going to have them sliding to #5. Evan Neal. They need protection on that line if they think Daniel Jones is going to be the future. Protect Saquon Barkley. Get this offense rolling a little bit more as well. Brian Daboll, almost a Dan Campbell. It's probably because it was stuck in my head. But Brian Daboll's taking over a young offensive team as well, bringing in a Mike Kafka. They need to remold this team, trying to find a way to win some games, try a way to make this offense effective. The first thing you got to do is protect that QB, and that's what Evan Neal will do. At number 6, we're going into Carolina, and I have them taking the first quarterback coming off the board. That might be a shock to a lot of people as well. I will have them taking Kenny Pickett. Now, this was a toss-up between me. I was thinking Malik Willis, who had a great Senior Bowl, but I'm going to stick with Kenny Pickett just because I think overall he'll be the number 1 quarterback getting picked in this draft. But again, we're still a couple months away as well. Anything could change. Combines can change everything as well, but I like Kenny Pickett here. My main thing I try to look to this as well is kind of trying to predict free agency as well. And I don't know if Carolina can get not a big free agent signing quarterback, but even a quarterback signing coming to Carolina as well. They might have to do it in the draft, and they might have to reach a little bit at this spot. But if they get the quarterback they want, it'll all pay dividends to have him compete in the NFC. At number 6, we're going back to the New York Giants. I have them switching it, going to the defense side of the ball, and I'll have them taking the pass rusher out of Purdue, George KARLAFTIS. I think that's how you say it. We're going to find out how many names I can pronounce correctly in this because these names can get wild out here. But the pass rusher out of Purdue, he brings pressure, he brings speed and power as well. It helps that New York Giants defense where they were inconsistent throughout the years. You can see they had some really good games, then they just fell off. They need to bring that pressure, and I think he will do that, and I think that would be an excellent pick, definitely with 2 top 10 picks as well. You address the offensive line, now let's just address the defensive line. At number 8, we are going to Atlanta, and the first wide receiver will come off the board, and it's one of my favorite wide receivers. It will be TREYLON BURKS. He is a sneaky player. I love this player a lot. He's going to be the first receiver off the board. I don't care what anyone says. There's a lot. This receiver class is loaded. But the reason what makes him one of my favorite receivers, and I think we'll have him high up there on the people's depth, is he reminds people a lot of Deebo Samuel, where you could plug and pull him anywhere, and everyone's going to be looking for that next piece that is like Deebo Samuel. And I think he might be it. So Atlanta, they will be all over that. They're going to be looking for another piece because we don't know if Calvin Ridley will be back as well. They lost Julio Jones last year. They need to rebuild this offense because it has quickly changed from those Julio Jones, Matt Ryan's days. They need to rebuild that offense. So TREYLON BURKS, he'll be a great asset in that wide receiving core. At number 9, the Denver Broncos. I really wanted to go quarterback here, but something tells me they can land a free agent in quarterback in free agency. So that means it won't be an asset in the first round as well. Like I said, I don't know what quarterback they will land in free agency. We'll have to wait and see. But something tells me they'll get that addressed in free agency. So that means I'll have them go linebacker, have them go DEVIN LLYOD. He is a great freak athlete as a linebacker. In Denver, they got kind of older in their linebacking core. It's time to, rejuvenate it, bring the youth back in. I think this will be an excellent pick as well. Definitely with me thinking they're addressing their quarterback in free agency. Now, if they don't, this can easily be a quarterback at this pick. But we'll just have to wait and see how free agency play itself out. But I like DEVIN LLYOD right here. And to wrap up the top 10, the New York Jets are coming back in. Robert Saleh already had a defensive lineman come to him. Actually, a DM fall to him. Now, he having one of the best cornerbacks fall to him, and Derek Stingley as well. He's going to build this defense the way he wants to build it, and why not get a top-notch cornerback as well? I think that'd be a perfect fit in his system. I think this New York Jets defense will start turning it around. Now, if they could put the pieces correctly on offense, the Jets might be someone to reckon with. They're still a young team. Don't hold them on too high of a pedestal, but I could like the defense they make in this draft. We're going to the number 11 pick. Washington, the Commanders, got a new name. I've mentioned it before in a podcast, mentioned it before in different episodes as well. You need a new face of the franchise to lead that new face with the Commander team as well. Let's go Malik Willis. I think that's a perfect fit. I don't know. I love the fit. He might have to be on the bench a year behind Tyler Heineke or behind a vet as well. I don't think he's someone you just throw out there. But again, you never know in today's day. These young quarterbacks, they come out, they come slinging. And he could be the face of the NFC. Like me and Tim mentioned in the podcast as well, the NFC is struggling to find that young QB. They're all on the AFC side. The NFC needs to hit gold on these young quarterback prospects. Let's see if Malik Willis can do it with the Washington Commanders. We're going to Minnesota at the number 12 pick, and it seems like their new coach is very committed in Kirk Cousins. Now, Vikings fans, I don't know how greatly you feel with that. Maybe you don't want Kirk Cousins to be the quarterback of next year, but I'm solely basing this off what your coach said, and he's making it seem like he doesn't want to leave Kirk Cousins, which he's not a bad quarterback whatsoever. Is he the one to take you over the top into a playoff run in the Super Bowl? I don't believe that either. But we got to make it what it is, and we got to give him any asset he can to try to make this run. So let's bulk up that offensive line. Let's give him a center. Let's give him, who do I have? Tyler Linderbaum, one of the best centers, actually one of the best center prospects that I've heard that they've seen in the draft in these upcoming years. Hey, if you have a great O-line, it just gives him more ammo as well. I know Kirk Cousins has everything you can need. You got a Adam Thielen, you got a Justin Jefferson, you got a Dalvin Cook. Bolster up this O-line where if Kirk Cousins keeps failing, it's going to be solely on his shoulders. I know a lot of people, I know Viking fans already know that as well. But if he's going to be your quarterback that you ride or die with, you got to make sure you give him every weapon, including the offensive line as well. At the number 14 pick, we're going down to Baltimore. And one thing they struggled with this year is injury prone. They were injured throughout the season at any position, but where they got decimated the most was in their secondary on the defense side of the ball, and they are ecstatic to see AHMAD, Sauce, Gardner out of Cincinnati still available. He can be an elite cornerback. He could have his own island in the future as well. And if he stays healthy and he performs how he did in Cincinnati, you get a Marcus Peters back healthy, a Marlon Humphreys back healthy. This Ravens defense secondary can be scary again, and the Baltimore Ravens, and especially the fans, would be ecstatic to see Sauce Gardner there at the number 14 pick. Now at number 15, and they got the 16 pick as well, but let's focus on the 15th pick. Philly has 3 picks actually coming up. They can really re-bolster this team and try to make themselves in contention again. And right here, I got him going with the cornerback as well. Trent McDuffie. He is a good coverage cornerback as well. You put him on the other side where Darius Slay as well. Build that defense because that's what was struggling. They've had their inconsistencies. Build it. Make sure that it doesn't lack because you're in the division with the lights of a well, that is his full name, but it kind of seemed insulting. I almost said Dakota. But with the Dak Prescott, and just build it up. And that's what I'm going to go with the number 16 pick as well. I'm going to go with Nakobe Dean from Georgia. A young linebacker, very solid, very stout, good tackler. That's something they need. They need to build this defense as well because Philly, we've known they've struggled on defense and they've actually struggled on both sides of the ball, but they need these young prospects to come in. They need to come in and contribute quickly. So I like those 2 pieces right away to help this defense immediately. At the number 17th pick, we're going to LA. We're going to go with the Chargers, and I have them in this free agency because I just don't think, not that they can't afford it because they got the money to do it, but I think they let Mike Williams walk. Now, with that being said as well, this could be a lot of people's number 1 draft wide receiver prospect in this year's draft. I have him going Drake London. He matches the body frame of Mike Williams as well. Gives Herbert that big target back like he never lost it. I love that fit for the Chargers. I think Drake London would be a very good pick for the Chargers right here. At the number 18th pick, we're going to go with the New Orleans Saints. I don't think or I don't know how they can address a quarterback in free agency just because that top tier money unless they can bring a Jameis Winston back in as well. But if you do, I don't know if that's a long-term answer. So let's try to get your long-term answer here. We're going to go with Matt Corral, the quarterback out of Ole Miss. If he's got to sit a year behind Jameis, that's perfectly fine. I like him, man. Like, he brings different dimensions to the game. He's elusive as well. I think he can be a good quarterback in this league. And I think the Saints might be reaching a little bit here. But again, if it's a quarterback you're in love with, it's not a reach. Definitely if it pans out. Like, we've seen this in the past where we thought Patrick Mahomes was a reach because he should have been a late first-round pick, but we don't even talk about that now because of the immediate impact he has had. You never know with quarterbacks. This could be money that no one's speaking of right now, and I think the Saints could strike on this big time. At the number 19 pick, we going back to Philly, and I think I gave Philly their dream draft, and I'm not even a big Philly fan like that. I'm not a Philly fan whatsoever, but the Eagles, they will get a wide receiver to go on the other side of, I am drawing a blank. Got it. Of Devontae Smith, his former teammate, Jameis Williams, right? Yeah, I almost said Williams. Now, I think, he's coming off a torn ACL, and that's really the only reason he's falling right here, and he could fall farther as well. But if you match those two as well, good speed threats, I think they fit and help Jalen Hurts immensely as well. I think that's a great dynamic duo in the future, and I love these first 3 picks that the Eagles will be getting. It helps the Eagles day one, and I think they'll be a different team immediately. At the number 20 pick, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now I know a lot of people are going to be thinking, well, Pittsburgh going quarterback here, right? They got to be. I think somehow, some way, Pittsburgh's going to address the quarterback issue in free agency. Now they can draft a young guy they want, but I don't know if their one they want will fall to them, so they'd have to trade up, and that's why I'm thinking they'll address the free agency. Like, again, I don't know who they'll get. There's the likes of Aaron Rodgers, Jimmy Garoppolo, Kyler Murray maybe. You never know. He's unfollowing people, so you never know what could happen. But in this instant, I think they addressed in free agency. Something's just telling me. I don't know. I'm just feeling like something's telling me they handle their quarterback position in free agency. Now, with that being said, they got kind of a blessing that happened. One of their top 3 linemen fell to them in Charles Cross. And you address that because Pittsburgh had a terrible O-line last year. You address it right away because Najee Harris, he had a great year behind a terrible O-line. They've allowed a lot of sacks, so whoever you're bringing in does not want to get hit like that. Protect them. Make sure that they are protected at all times. Give them time because Pittsburgh does have a talented team, but if you can't protect, you ain't getting the ball nowhere. So Charles Cross, I love it, and if he falls there, I think Pittsburgh fans would be ecstatic for that as well. At the number 21 pick, the New England Patriots are up, and I have them picking Kaiir Elam out of Florida. Now, I think this is an easy pick, honestly. I think no matter who the name is, I think it's a cornerback here. I think J.C. Jackson leaves in free agency. I don't know what the team may be. I would sure love it if it was Kansas City. But, hey, again, I think what Kansas City, I think what New England does very well is they know how to produce talent on the defense side of the ball. So that's why they're not afraid to let someone walk. They've done it year in and year out. These young studs come in and they become good right off the bat. So that's why I can see J.C. Jackson getting a big deal somewhere else. In New England drafting someone and replacing him right out the get-go, and Elam could be that pick. At number 22, I got the Las Vegas Raiders coming in, and they need to fill that void that Henry Ruggs left. And what better person to do that besides Chris Olave out of Ohio State? I think this is a great pick. He is an explosive player. He's a good possession receiver as well. It makes the Raiders better right away on offense, and he will fill that void that Henry Ruggs left. And honestly, I think he'll be a better day one starter than Henry Ruggs was because Henry Ruggs coming in was just a straight burner. I think this is more better all-around receiver for the Raiders, and I think they upgraded the receiving core right away with Chris Olave coming in. At the 23rd pick, we have the Arizona Cardinals coming in. And man, I don't know what to make of the Arizona Cardinals, as do a lot of us. They come in every year hot, streaking. We think they're the next team. We think, oh, they're finally taking control in the NFC, and then they fall flat on their faces again. Here, I'm going to have them address the defensive side of the ball just because they don't really have a good starting cornerback like that. I know Murphy, he's good out there as well, but why not solidify that secondary? Let's go with Andrew Booth Jr. as well. I just feel like I really can't pinpoint what went wrong. Arizona Cardinal fans, comment down below because I know you guys watch them better than I do because it's like they got the pieces there. And they just fall flat on their face every year. And I feel like maybe addressing the defense will help. Like I said, I'll do more research going into the future on these mock drafts. But right now, I'm going to stick with that because I didn't feel comfortable throwing a receiver here. I didn't feel comfortable. Maybe a lineman might have helped. But yeah, I just wanted to go defense side of the ball because I think that's where they're lacking most of their talent. And I feel like a young cornerback coming in would help solidify that right away as well. At the number 24 pick, we got the Dallas Cowboys coming in, and I have them solidifying that line. It used to be one of the top lines in the league, and it's still up there as well. But you bring Kenyon Green, one of the best guards, if not best guards in this draft, to Dallas. I think they'd love that. Try to get this running game back going. Protect Dak Prescott as long as you can as well. And make sure this offense just keeps flowing because, again, this offense was something that also fell apart down the line in this season as well going into the playoffs. And if that line can't block for anyone, it's going to be another long season. Well, it wasn't a long season in the beginning, but we have these high Super Bowl aspirations for the Cowboys, and it's kind of like the Cardinals. We don't have Super Bowl aspirations for the Cardinals, but with the Cowboys, we always do, and then we always know what happens. They fall on their face around week 10. solidify that line. When it comes to November, December type football, you could run Zeke, Tony Pollard, and get yourself into the playoffs, and then whatever happens from there, happens from there. But we need to make it to the dance, and I think solidifying the line will help out a lot. At the number 25 pick, we have the Buffalo Bills coming in, and I have them adding more firepower to this offense, and I have them adding Jahan Dotson. And he's a burner. He's a great receiver coming out of Penn State as well. I think he'll climb up a lot of draft boards coming out of the combine too. And this is going to be interesting, man. I don't know. Like, you could go so many positions with this for the Buffalo Bills, but I feel like they don't have a solidified number 2. Now, you could say Gabriel could be that as well after how he's played, but we'll have to see that throughout the season as well. It's definitely not Cole Beasley, so you might as well add someone on the other side of Stephon Diggs. I think this will help out immensely for Josh Allen as well, and it gives another weapon for the AFC to be concerned about and try to get over the top of the Kansas City Chiefs and now Cincinnati Bengals. At the number 26 pick, I have the Tennessee Titans selecting Trevor Penning. Now, Tennessee's not missing a lot on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, you can correct a lot of things right away as well. But I think helping solidify that line, definitely from a run power team, will help out greatly as well. And I think Trevor Penning would be a solid pick here. Get some protection, help Henry, help Tannehill if he's the quarterback of your future, and just run with it. At the number 27 pick, I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming in, and no more Tom Brady, so might as well go QB as well. Let's go get Sam Howell. Now, he's a great quarterback coming out of NC, and I think he could be someone, like I know they drafted Kyle Trask last year as well. I think they'll have a one-year starter. I don't know who that's going to be as well, but I don't think none of these guys you could throw right away into the fire. I think the Buccaneers, they're definitely going to get a setback from not having Tom Brady, but I like this pick here. I think he could be a great, definitely with Trask, a great competition for the future. See who you like rolling with, because Trask was your second-round pick, I want to say, last year, second or third. Again, you don't want no lost picks, but Howell would definitely get the nod right here. It's going to be interesting to see. It definitely will. But I don't see quarterback being eliminated right away just because that they drafted Trask last year. They could easily draft a quarterback in round 1. So don't keep that out of the options whatsoever. At the number 28 pick, we got the Green Bay Packers up. And I got them finally addressing the wide receiver position. And they had a receiver fall to him, Garrett Wilson out of Ohio State. Now, will Aaron Rodgers be there next year? I don't know. Will Devontae Adams be there next year? I don't know. But if it's Jordan Love, he's that number 1 guy. I think Wilson will be a great compliment there, and I think they can build a good chemistry. It's going to be interesting because now they want to address, I know they'll address it offensively somehow, some way to be successful, and unfortunately, they'll do it after Aaron Rodgers leaves, but I like them going wide receiver in the first round. At the number 29 pick, I have the Miami Dolphins. This might be a reach to a lot of people, but when it becomes draft time, like I said, 2 months down the line, a lot of things could change. I think this kid will blow everyone out at the combine. George Pickens, wide receiver out of Georgia. Let's not forget, he was one of the best wide receivers coming into this year, and then he tore his ACL, and unfortunately, that hurt your stock. And he came back playoff time. He had one catch for 50 yards. He looked like he started that explosion. Big receiver. I feel like the combine is going to help this kid a lot, and he might be a sneaky first-round pick. So keep your eyes out for George Pickens, because that could be a name to watch out for coming time in April. At the number 30 pick, we got my Kansas City Chiefs. Now, they can go so many positions here whatsoever. I feel like they'll address the defensive end. I know, because I'm a Chiefs fan, I might have had him fall to me. But I don't really think so. If I was going to have anyone fall to me, I'd hope one of those wide receivers played along and fell down the line. But I had David OJABO fall to the Kansas City Chiefs, and it's the type of pass rusher they need. They need consistent pressure off that line to make this defense better, because if they don't, it's going to be another long season where Chiefs fans struggle to watch this defense and hope the offense can carry them to another Super Bowl. And that's a heartache waiting to happen that I don't want to see again. At the number 31 pick, we got, well, it depends. So like I said, the Super Bowl hasn't been in play yet. We will have results, of course, by the time this video airs, because I'll probably have this up midweek next week, maybe earlier than that. But I have the Cincinnati Bengals as 31 pick. So with that, have him taking a tackle because we know they need it, and it'll be Daniel FALEELE. I know I pronounced that right. Wrong. So he's out of Minnesota. He's another prospect that I think the combine will help him out a lot. Cincinnati didn't have one of the linemen that they want to fall to him, but it's when you're in that bottom tier of the first round, you're going to kind of reach for guys because then you're not going to pick till later in the second round. So you got to make sure you get the guy you wanted, and they definitely need a lineman at this point. Definitely. Like, if they want to succeed next year as well. Like, we don't know how the Super Bowl is going to play out, but with the likes of an Aaron Donald coming at you all day, I can only imagine how this O-line holds. I have Cincinnati winning the Super Bowl, but Joe Burrow, you going to be scrambling, boy. So I'm going to give you some protection in this draft. At the number 32 pick, the Detroit Lions get a pick for a second time. They traded, of course, with the LA Rams, or it could be the 31 pick, regardless of what it may be. I am taking a quarterback here, maybe the quarterback of the future, out of Cincinnati, Desmond Ridder. I really like this a lot. They addressed the defense with the best player in the draft. Now you go get your quarterback, be behind Jared Goff for a year, build that franchise, make him the face of your franchise. Desmond Ridder, he's not a day one starter whatsoever, but if he's a quarterback you like, you get him now. So I think that's a good pick for the Detroit Lions. And with that will wrap up my version 1 of my 2022 NFL mock drafts. Let me know down below on how you feel about these picks. If you're a fan of any of these teams, which if you're a fan of the NFL, you got to be a fan of one of them, unless you're an LA Rams fan. But let me know what you think of the selection I made for your team. Let me know if I addressed the interest of need on your team, or you felt I should have went in a different direction as well. I would love any feedback. But without further ado, I will be back with more mock drafts. I'll be back with more free agency predictions as well. So you do not want to miss out on any of that. So that means subscribe to the channel. Like the video, please. It is greatly appreciated. And without further ado, I will check out. I will catch you guys right after the Super Bowl, give you my review on that, and wrapping up this crazy 2021 NFL season and jumping right into 2022. But with that, thank you guys for checking in. I am checking out, and you guys enjoy your day.